My dear friends, in this fast-moving world where our minds are constantly racing, our hearts are restless, and peace seems like a luxury, I want to ask you a simple question. When was the last time you truly felt calm? Not distracted, not entertained, not busy, but calm. Because calmness is not the absence of noise, it's the presence of peace. Today, let's explore together a few simple daily habits that can help you calm your mind and bring serenity into your everyday life. Every morning presents us with a choice to rush into the chaos of the world or to rise into calmness. How you start your day determines how your day unfolds, and more importantly, how you feel throughout it. Most people begin their mornings in a hurry, checking their phones before their eyes are even fully open, scrolling through messages, emails, and news that immediately fill the mind with noise and comparison. But if you truly wish to calm your mind and live with balance, the very first step is to begin your day with stillness. Those few moments of silence at the start of your day can become the most powerful minutes of your entire 24 hours. Imagine waking up, sitting quietly and allowing yourself to simply be. No phone, no distractions, just you and your breath. That stillness is not emptiness, it's the foundation of strength. It's the moment where you reclaim control before the world demands your attention. Taking 5 or 10 minutes every morning to breathe consciously, to observe your thoughts, or to meditate creates a mental shield that protects you from the stress that follows during the day. In that silence, you build a connection with yourself that no amount of productivity or external success can replace. When you start your day in stillness, you send a powerful message to your mind. I am in control of my emotions, my reactions, and my energy. You remind yourself that peace is not something you chase, it's something you choose. This practice doesn't require fancy techniques or long rituals. All it needs is intention. Sit by a window, take a few deep breaths, and feel the morning air. Listen to the sound of life waking up, the birds, the breeze, the quiet hum of the world around you. Every sound, every breath is a reminder that calmness is your natural state. It's important to understand that the way you begin your day sets the emotional tone for everything that follows. If you start in a rush, your mind stays restless. If you start in peace, your mind stays poised. Even science supports this. Studies show that just a few minutes of mindful breathing in the morning can reduce anxiety, increase focus, and boost emotional resilience. You become less reactive and more intentional, less stressed and more centered. In other words, the calm you cultivate in the morning becomes the strength you carry throughout the day. Many people say they don't have time for this kind of practice, but in reality, it's not about time, it's about priorities. We make time for what we value. We charge our phones every night without fail, yet we forget to charge our minds in the morning. Those few minutes of stillness are your mental recharge, your opportunity to fill yourself with clarity before you face the noise of the world. And the beauty of this habit is that it compounds. The more consistently you do it, the more naturally peaceful you become. Over time, you'll notice that your reactions slow down, your focus sharpens, and your stress loses its grip on you. There's something deeply transformative about giving yourself permission to pause. In that pause, you rediscover your own strength. You stop living on autopilot and start living with awareness. You will no longer allow external circumstances to dictate your mood, because your calm comes from within. When your mornings begin with peace, your day flows with purpose. When your thoughts begin with gratitude, your actions follow with grace. So as the sun rises and the world begins its rush, take a moment to slow down. Let the silence speak to you. Let your breath guide you. Let the stillness remind you that you are not just a participant in the chaos of life. You are the observer, the chooser, the creator of your inner world. Every calm morning becomes a silent victory, a quiet declaration that says, today I will not let the world shake my peace. And that truly is the first and most powerful step toward calming your mind. Gratitude is one of the most transformative habits a person can cultivate, and yet it is often the most overlooked. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us to want more, do more, and become more, we easily forget to appreciate what we already have. Our minds are trained to focus on what's missing rather than what's present, and that subtle shift in focus becomes the root of restlessness. The practice of gratitude, however, reverses this mental pattern. It brings us back to a place of contentment and calm, reminding us that joy doesn't always come from getting something new. It often comes from seeing the old with new eyes. When you begin to practice gratitude daily, you slowly rewire your mind to notice beauty in the ordinary. A simple cup of tea, a smile from a loved one, the warmth of the morning sun, or the comfort of a soft bed. These small details, once ignored, start to glow with meaning. Gratitude is not about pretending that everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging that even in imperfection, there is something to be thankful for. It's a conscious choice to focus on what's working rather than what's broken. That choice, made repeatedly, calms the mind and softens the heart. One of the most effective ways to build this habit is through gratitude journaling. Every night, take a few moments before bed to write down 3 things you are grateful for. They can be simple, specific, and personal. Maybe someone offered you a kind word today. Maybe you laughed after a long time. Or maybe you simply had a peaceful moment to yourself. Writing them down anchors them in your memory, allowing the feeling of appreciation to linger. Over time, this nightly ritual becomes a bridge between your busy mind and your peaceful heart. It shifts your mental energy away from stress and towards serenity. Psychologists often say that the human brain has a negativity bias, meaning it naturally clings to unpleasant experiences more than positive ones. Gratitude challenges this tendency. It teaches the mind to seek balance, to notice not only what's wrong, but also what's right. When practiced consistently, gratitude increases optimism, improves relationships, and enhances emotional resilience. It doesn't erase problems, but it gives you a stronger foundation to face them. Because when your heart is full of appreciation, there's little room left for anxiety. The beauty of gratitude is that it changes how you see the world without changing anything in it. 2 people can experience the same day. One complains about what went wrong, the other celebrates what went right, and yet their emotional worlds are entirely different. The difference isn't in their circumstances, but in their perspective. Gratitude gives you that perspective. It turns ordinary moments into gifts and challenges into lessons. It allows you to walk through the same life, but with lighter steps and a calmer mind. There's a quiet strength in being thankful. It humbles you without diminishing you. It teaches you to see every experience as part of your growth, every person as a teacher, and every difficulty as a chance to learn patience. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means refusing to let pain define your entire story. It's a reminder that even on the darkest days, there's still something to hold on to. A breath, a heartbeat, a hope. In moments of chaos or doubt, pause and ask yourself one question: what can I be grateful for right now? The answer will always guide you back to peace. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment, and the present moment is where calmness lives. When your mind drifts toward worry, gratitude brings it home. It's a soft whisper that says, look around. You already have enough. You already are enough. And when you begin to live with that awareness, you realize that true calmness isn't found in the absence of struggle, but in the presence of appreciation. In the rush of modern life, where screens dominate our attention and artificial environments surround us, many people forget one of the simplest, most powerful ways to calm the mind: connecting with nature. Human beings were never meant to live entirely indoors, confined between walls and deadlines. Our minds and bodies were designed to align with the rhythms of the earth, the rising sun, the flow of wind, the song of birds, the quiet hum of life that exists beyond the noise of civilization. When we spend time in nature, even for a few minutes, something profound happens inside us. Our breath slows, our thoughts soften, and our hearts find balance again. Nature doesn't ask anything from us. It simply allows us to be. When you walk outside early in the morning, feel the gentle touch of the breeze or hear the rustling of leaves, you're not just experiencing beauty, you're experiencing healing. Scientific studies have shown that spending time in green spaces reduces cortisol levels, lowers blood pressure, and improves mood. But beyond science, there's a spiritual calm that emerges from being surrounded by natural life. The trees stand still yet strong, the rivers flow effortlessly, and the mountains remain unmoved by time. When you observe these elements, they silently teach you how to live, to stand firm, to flow gracefully, to remain steady through change. Nature doesn't rush, yet everything is accomplished in its time. This rhythm gently reminds you that peace comes not from controlling everything, but from trusting the process. You don't need to travel to distant forests or majestic mountains to feel this connection. Even small moments, watering plants, walking barefoot on grass, watching the clouds drift across the sky, or sitting under the shade of a tree, can restore a sense of inner balance. These simple acts allow your senses to reconnect with reality, grounding you in the present. The scent of soil after rain, the sound of birds at dawn, or the sight of a sunset slowly fading into twilight has a calming effect that no digital screen can replicate. Nature communicates without words, and those who listen find peace in its silence. When you spend time in nature regularly, you begin to notice how it mirrors your own life. Seasons change. There are times of growth, times of rest, times of letting go. Just as trees shed their leaves to prepare for new life, we too must learn to release what no longer serves us. The calmness of nature isn't just about beauty, it's about wisdom. It reminds you that every cycle, every challenge, every quiet phase has a purpose. The earth never resists a storm. It bends, it endures, and then it blooms again. In the same way, your mind can find peace not by avoiding difficulties, but by learning to flow with them. Spending time outdoors also offers something that most modern lives lack: perspective. When you look at the vastness of the ocean or the endless stretch of sky, your problems suddenly seem smaller. The same worries that felt overwhelming indoors begin to lose their weight when measured against the magnitude of creation. It humbles you, not in a way that diminishes your worth, but in a way that expands your understanding. You realize that you are part of something much larger, something timeless and sacred. That realization alone can quiet even the most restless mind. Try dedicating a small part of your day to reconnect with nature. A morning walk, an evening on the balcony watching the sunset, or simply sitting in silence under the open sky. Let your phone rest. Let your thoughts settle. Let yourself breathe in the simplicity of the moment. You'll begin to notice a soft stillness rising from within, as if the peace of nature has entered your heart. Because in truth, nature is not outside of you, it's within you. The calm you seek has always been there, waiting for you to pause, step outside, and listen to the quiet wisdom of the world that gave you life. We live in a time when the world is louder than ever before. Notifications buzz, screens flash, and information pours into our minds from every direction. While technology has made life easier in many ways, it has also stolen something precious from us: silence. The constant connection to devices keeps our minds busy, restless, and overstimulated. We scroll endlessly through updates, chasing validation, comparing our lives, and filling every empty moment with noise. The habit of being constantly online creates a subtle tension that builds within us, and before we realize it, our peace begins to fade. Taking time for a digital detox isn't about rejecting technology. It's about reclaiming balance. It's about reminding ourselves that we are human beings, not human notifications. The mind needs stillness to think clearly, but when it's fed an unending stream of data, it loses that clarity. Every beep, every message, every post triggers a new thought, a new reaction, a new layer of mental clutter. When this continues without pause, we start feeling overwhelmed and emotionally drained, even when nothing major is wrong. That's why intentional disconnection is so important. Taking time away from screens, even briefly, allows the mind to breathe. It gives space for reflection, creativity, and calm to return. You begin to feel more present, more aware of your surroundings, and more in tune with your emotions. Start small. You don't have to disappear into the wilderness to find peace. Begin by setting aside short, screen-free moments in your day. Maybe an hour before bed, you turn off your phone. Maybe in the morning, instead of reaching for your device, you reach for silence. These small acts of discipline are acts of self-respect. They remind you that your peace is more important than any digital distraction. When you free yourself from the constant pull of technology, you regain authority over your attention. You stop reacting to everything around you and start responding with intention. The truth is, many of us use screens as a form of escape, a way to avoid uncomfortable feelings, loneliness, or boredom. But that escape is temporary and often leaves us emptier than before. A digital detox forces us to confront those moments of discomfort and turn them into opportunities for growth. When you put your phone down, you might feel restless at first, but as the minutes pass, that restlessness fades and you start noticing the world again. The sound of your own breath, the light filtering through your window, the rhythm of life unfolding quietly around you. What seemed silent is actually full of life. We just never pause long enough to hear it. Stepping away from technology also deepens your relationships. When you're not distracted by screens, you begin to truly listen to others. You make eye contact, you engage in real conversations, and you connect from the heart. These human moments, unfiltered, unhurried, bring a kind of peace that no digital connection can replicate. They remind you that life isn't meant to be lived through pixels, it's meant to be felt, experienced, and shared. When you create boundaries around technology, you protect your mental energy. You start choosing what deserves your attention instead of giving it away freely. You no longer allow algorithms to decide your mood or direction. Instead, you use technology with purpose, not addiction. The goal isn't to reject the digital world, but to use it consciously, to let it serve you, not consume you. There's a quiet liberation that comes when you disconnect. The silence that once felt uncomfortable begins to feel sacred. Your thoughts settle, your creativity awakens, and your heart feels lighter. You realize how much mental space was taken up by unnecessary noise. A few moments of stillness, free from screens, become a doorway to peace. And as that peace grows, you'll find that you don't need constant stimulation to feel alive. You only need awareness. The gentle reminder that life's most meaningful moments are happening not on a screen, but right here, right now. One of the greatest challenges many people face is not dealing with the world around them, but dealing with the voice within them. We live in a society that celebrates perfection and achievement, often forgetting that behind every success is a human being who struggles, makes mistakes, and learns through failure. In trying to meet endless expectations, people become their own harshest critics. They speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to a friend. Yet, the truth is that peace begins when you learn to be kind to yourself. Self-compassion is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the foundation of emotional balance and inner calm. Being kind to yourself doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or lowering your standards. It means accepting your humanity. It's about recognizing that imperfection is not weakness. It's a natural part of growth. Every mistake, every wrong turn, every doubt you've ever faced has shaped you into who you are today. When you treat yourself with understanding instead of judgment, you create a space within your mind where healing can begin. The world is already full of pressure and criticism. Your inner dialogue should be your place of safety, not another battlefield. Think for a moment about how often you hold yourself to impossible standards. You expect constant productivity, flawless results, and endless strength. When you fall short, you label yourself as a failure instead of acknowledging that you are simply human. This constant self-judgment creates tension that drains your energy and clouds your peace. But when you practice self-compassion, you begin to replace that judgment with patience. You start saying, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to rest. It's okay to not have everything figured out. This simple shift doesn't make you weaker. It makes you wiser. It allows you to move forward without the heavy burden of self-criticism. Self-compassion also means speaking kindly to yourself. Words have incredible power. The tone you use with yourself determines the tone of your thoughts. When you talk to yourself with understanding, you nurture a more peaceful inner world. For instance, when something goes wrong, instead of saying, I always mess things up, try saying, I'm learning, and that's enough for today. This change in language rewires the way your mind responds to difficulty. You stop fueling shame and start building resilience. The mind cannot calm down in an environment of constant negativity. It finds peace only in acceptance and encouragement. There will be times when life feels overwhelming and you'll be tempted to doubt your worth. In those moments, pause and remind yourself that you are doing the best you can with what you know. Growth is not linear and healing takes time. Comparing your journey to others will only lead to frustration because everyone's path is different. The flower doesn't compete with the tree beside it. It simply blooms in its own season. When you understand that your pace is your strength, you stop chasing others' timelines and start appreciating your own. Being kind to yourself also means setting boundaries that protect your peace. It's learning to say no when your heart is exhausted, to rest when your body needs it, and to walk away from situations that drain your spirit. Many people equate self-compassion with selfishness, but in reality, it's the opposite. The more gentle and understanding you are toward yourself, the more love and patience you have to offer others. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and kindness begins with how you treat your own mind and heart. When you cultivate self-compassion, you begin to see challenges differently. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin to ask, what is this teaching me? That small change transforms pain into purpose. It allows you to approach life with calmness instead of resistance. You stop being at war with yourself and start becoming your own ally. Every time you forgive yourself for a mistake, every time you offer yourself understanding instead of blame, you strengthen your inner peace. And that peace radiates outward, influencing how you see the world, how you treat others, and how you rise after every fall. Peace is often misunderstood as a state where everything around us is perfect, where there are no problems, no conflicts, and no uncertainties. But real peace isn't the absence of challenges. It's the ability to stay centered despite them. Life will never be free of difficulties, and perfection is a myth that keeps the mind trapped in constant dissatisfaction. When you chase perfection, you set yourself up for disappointment because the world is designed to be imperfect. True calmness comes from embracing the imperfection of life and choosing peace over the endless pursuit of flawlessness. It's in that choice where strength, wisdom and balance begin to grow. Every person experiences moments of frustration, when plans don't unfold as expected, when people don't act as we hoped, or when results don't match our efforts. In those moments, the mind tends to react with resistance. We question, we worry, and we criticize. But peace requires acceptance. It's about recognizing that not everything will go your way, and that's okay. Life isn't meant to always be controlled. It's meant to be lived, learned from, and appreciated. The calmer you become, the clearer you see that every situation, whether pleasant or painful, carries a purpose. Choosing peace over perfection doesn't mean giving up ambition. It means approaching your ambitions with grace rather than anxiety. The pursuit of perfection often stems from fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of not being enough. This fear keeps the mind restless, constantly comparing and competing. But when you begin to prioritize peace, your motivation shifts from fear to purpose. You no longer act to prove something to others. You act because it feels right to your heart. You focus on progress rather than perfection, understanding that growth happens through imperfection. Every setback becomes a stepping stone, every mistake a teacher, and every delay a form of divine timing. In this mindset, your peace remains unshaken because it's not dependent on flawless outcomes, but on steady faith. Peace over perfection is also about mastering the art of letting go. There are times when holding on to expectations, to control, to resentment, only causes inner turmoil. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop forcing. It's allowing life to unfold naturally, trusting that what's meant for you will come in its own time and form. This surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. It takes great strength to remain calm in uncertainty and to trust the process when results are unseen. The calm mind doesn't panic in the unknown. It listens, observes, and waits patiently. Practicing this mindset daily transforms how you experience life. When something goes wrong, instead of reacting with anger or self-blame, you pause and breathe. You remind yourself that not everything has to be perfect to be meaningful. You start appreciating small victories, small moments of beauty, and small steps of growth. The pressure begins to fade, replaced by gratitude and clarity. You stop measuring your life by how perfect it looks and start valuing how peaceful it feels. This subtle but powerful shift changes the quality of your emotions, your relationships, and your overall happiness. There is a quiet dignity in a person who chooses peace amid imperfection. They walk through chaos without losing their composure. They face failure without losing faith. They understand that peace is not found by fixing everything outside, but by managing everything within. When you choose peace over perfection, you give yourself permission to be human, to make mistakes, to learn, to rest, and to begin again without guilt. You stop demanding flawless outcomes and start trusting your sincere efforts. This inner freedom allows your creativity to expand, your confidence to strengthen, and your joy to deepen. Life will always have its share of uncertainty and imperfection, but that's where its beauty lies. The rain that delays your plans also nourishes the earth. The challenges that frustrate you also refine your character. The calm mind doesn't resist these truths, it embraces them. Choosing peace over perfection means understanding that you cannot control every event, but you can control your response to it. It means realizing that serenity is not something you find when life becomes easy. It's something you create when you decide to remain composed, grateful, and steady, no matter how imperfect life may seem. So, my dear friends, as you walk out today, remember, peace is not something to be found. It's something to be practiced. Start small. One breath, one thought, one grateful moment at a time. Because a calm mind is the foundation of a happy life. Thank you.